This thing is one of the full-on mountain mods of yesteryear. Come check this thing out. Today we have a 1999 Summit 670 with a 159 track wrapped around it. This is a Mountain Magic. And yeah, it is a whole lot of skid to be stuffed under that machine. If you've never heard of Mountain Magic, they're a custom build shop out of Alberta, or they were anyway. And when they were around, well, you got crazy builds like this one. The days of $40,000, $50,000 mod sled builds are kind of over, especially because you can get like a used turbocharged sled off the marketplace for like super cheap now. But this is the way they used to be. There's a few out there, but sleds usually don't get built quite like this one anymore. This sled has some really cool parts on it, and there isn't many of them around, so I really wanted to show this off. And when the customer dropped this one off for me, I was also encouraged to show this machine off a little bit. So here we are with this 1999 Ski-Doo 670 Summit Mountain Magic. There really is not many of these things around anymore, so if you have one, you have a cool piece of sled history. I don't typically show off customer units when they're here. In fact, I usually try to keep them out of the video entirely if I can, out of the background and everything, but this one was a really cool one, so I have to show it off. Let's take a look at this thing. We'll start it up and then we'll see what kind of noise it makes. This is a Mountain Magic. These things were pretty much all one-off builds. You can still find the odd one kicking around the marketplace, but if you were to see one in the wild, it really is like seeing a unicorn. And in fact, of all my years of wrenching, this is the first time I've ever got to lay hands on one. Let's do a walk around on this machine here today, and we'll pick out some of the aftermarket parts on it because there's a whole lot of them, and I'm gonna bet there's gonna be a bunch that you've never even heard of before. This thing is really cool, but it's kind of from an age that's come and gone. It was kind of the predecessor to all the four-strokes coming out to the mountains, the four-stroke turbos. This is a pretty serious mod build for the time. Let's have a look at this mountain relic today and see what the boys were up to at the time. Let's start at the front here. We've got Simmons Flexi skis on the front. These are a pretty common upgrade for the time. They each have a set of carbides on them, and I actually had a set on my 2003 Rev. I think they actually make a better trail ski than a mountain ski because of that dual carbide on each ski. You really find that it's not darting around, but I actually don't have any complaints about these skis. I've used them before. And it does have aftermarket trailing arms on the front, but besides that, the suspension setup is pretty much traditional, in the front anyway. The rest of the chassis has undergone some pretty big transformation. We got braces everywhere. We got a complete custom tunnel to accommodate that 159 track that they put in it. And if you didn't know there's a Mountain Magic, man, the branding is all over this thing. From the seat to the bracing, the rails have branding on them. A lot of this stuff was like one-off stuff, so it was kind of a big deal. Just standing beside this sled, even though it's from the late 90s, you stand beside it and this thing is an absolute monster. Let's open up the hood now though, to check out some more of what's going on, because this is where stuff starts to get a little more exciting. This thing has a set of CPC carbs in it, Cutler Performance Center carburetors, large diameter, tons of adjustability. And actually one of the biggest advantages of these carburetors is the throttle pull. If you've owned one of these machines before, and I have actually owned a Summit 670 of my own before, and a lot of sleds from this era, you'll notice that the throttle pull is super heavy. So what these carbs are actually awesome for is a super light pull on the throttle. You can get these things dialed in really well if you know what you're doing, because there's tons of adjustability even on the outside of them. We got the CPC carbs working with this Digitron gauge. This is an awesome gauge. It's what I need for the triple, actually. These things will actually tie into the speed sensor gear. You can read your EGTs with probes. That's what this one has. Coolant temperature, speed, it's all kind of there. It's a really nice system. Then you can use that gauge to delete the other ones that would otherwise be on your hood. This thing has some pretty tall bars that gauge is attached to, which was the style at the time. These things were pretty heavy, so you did need to like really throw your weight around to get these things to move the way that you want them to. So your high bars in this case actually mean more control. As in the case with many mod sleds, no hand warmers, no thumb warmers, even the lighting switch has been relocated to a different position. So you don't see a bunch of switches or anything hanging out on this thing. It's actually been cleaned up pretty nice. It's really common on these old models that people relocate the switches and everything just to clean everything all up. The seat, even the seat's been changed up on this thing. Mountain Magic, gotta have that on the side. Custom seat, fits the body a little better. And almost like they want you to put a certain item in there. I mean, pretty much every square inch of this machine has been touched. This came from a time where mods really went over the top. Back up to the engine here, we have a Rotax 670 Twin as the power plant. Mostly a stock block from what I can tell, besides a little bit of coolant rerouting, and of course the exhaust pipes The motor does have some beefed up bracing put in it up here, but it's really gonna be those exhaust pipes with the stingers equipped with them that are really gonna make this thing scream. It's gonna be that mixed with the clutching, because manufacturers leave a lot on the table for clutching, and we'll get into that in just a minute, because there's some special stuff going on in there too. Clutching is a place where you can spend some serious money, and I think that's what happened. And I wasn't able to find a whole lot of information on them either. So we've got a Paragon primary and secondary clutch on this thing. These things work together. They are heavier than the stock clutches that come out of it. From the reading that I've found, people are saying, 15, 20% power gains with this clutching. And I've seen power gains with clutching before for sure. Refinement in the ride, refinement in back shift, but 15, 20%, that's a lot. I'm not sure if that's really what they're getting, but that's what the claim is. If that's true, then these clutches really unlock a whole bunch of power on this thing too. You can spend a ton of money on clutching, and that's what happened. But now we can move on to the part that you guys have probably really been waiting for. Let's check out the track and the skid, because guess what? More custom stuff. So these are the custom rails, the branded rails. They fit a 159 track, which is what's in it, and was pretty much the biggest track you could go with at the time too. It's gonna have parts that are familiar, but in places that are not so familiar. Like for example, in the back, we have a limiter strap on the rear arm to keep that rear arm from hyperextending. And that's something you'd usually see on the front, which there is one there too. And this skid is also super stiff. It's got these big heavy torsion springs in it. And essentially what is really happening is it's so stiff that this skid is almost locked out, which is actually what you want for hill climbing. You want that stiff skid, and that'll help bring you to the top. And this in the back doesn't seem like a big deal, but here's where you really start seeing for the first time ever, idler wheels on the inside of the skid. Like these are some of the first machines that did it. And then it became like more of an industry standard later on. Chrome rails, branded. When you had a machine like this with all the branding on it, everybody really knew what it was. And if you're spending that kind of money on a machine, that's what you want. Looking at this thing, like hill climbing is pretty much what this thing was built for back in its day. These are like the mod sleds of yesteryear though. It's a back in the day mod, super tall bars, oil injection has already been deleted. It's really cool to actually see one of these, since they are getting so old, to be in such nice shape like this one. And if for whatever reason you're wondering why this thing is here with me today, well, it's here for a check over, which turned into a diagnostic, and we located a no spark problem on it. Okay. Found that on the test drive, after it came up to temperature, we're losing spark. So this thing is now here for a magneto. So every time this thing starts up, it's running on borrowed time. I have to wait for the engine to cool down before I can start this thing again. So we can start it, we can run it, but every time I run it, it's running on borrowed time. Once that stator starts heating up a little bit, we lose spark entirely and the machine just dies. So even though it's got an electrical problem, we can still start it up, see what it sounds like, and hear this thing rip a little bit. Oh my God. That's a greasy one. As far as things go, that's a greasy one. So there you guys go. Just wanted to show you that. Wicked Sled will throw a stator at it. Pretty common for these 670s, I'm finding out that the stators on them maybe weren't the best. So we'll get a stator put on order. We'll pop one in and we'll get this relic ripping again. That one's loud. That's one of the louder ones we've ever worked on. Oh my God. Right, that's about it for that one. Very cool to have a Mountain Magic come in. I wanted to show you guys it a little bit and the customer was cool with it. So very cool machine. You don't get to see them very often, which is why I wanted to show this one off. And after a little bit of electrical work, this one's up and running again. Wicked Sled, wicked throwback to the 90s where you get to see these muscle sleds in action again. It's awesome. These things are actually coming back a little bit. And I love seeing it. All right, that's it for this video. We're gonna head back in the shop and we got a bunch of other projects and fun stuff to work on here coming up. It's not just this. And we'll see everybody in the next one very soon. See everybody. We're out here in early season. How's it been so far, Ben?
You know, it's been a lot better than working. So it's good.
Yeah, we're out here at Frisbee Mountain again.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way back side and also on the other side of the river.
Yeah.
Side of Frisbee.
The barge over across.
Yeah.
But,